What if the water you've been pouring into your glass every morning is hydrating you and doing little else? Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific drinks that researchers have studied for what they appear to do beyond hydration, supporting the lining of your blood vessels, helping blood flow more freely, and giving your cardiovascular system the raw materials it actually uses after 60. And I'm going to be honest with you from the very first sentence. Hey, stop drinking only plain water. I know that sounds ungrateful. Your doctor has been telling you to drink more for decades. So, for me to stand here and say, stop feels like a betrayal. But here's what most of us were never told. After 60, plain water keeps you alive. It does not by itself give your blood vessels what they now need to stay soft, flexible, and responsive. And there's a quiet reason for that. Your body no longer produces certain signaling molecules at the levels it once did. Without those molecules, even perfectly hydrated blood struggles to move the way it should. I'm Dr. William Lee, and over the years I've spent both in clinical practice and reviewing the research. One pattern has become impossible to ignore. The people who age the most, gracefully, sharp, energetic, independent, well into their 80s, almost never rely on plain water alone. They drink with intention. They give their vascular systems specific compounds their bodies are now running low on. A study published by researchers at the U.S. National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute found that adults whose hydration status sat in the optimal range showed measurably slower biological aging across multiple organ systems, including the cardiovascular system, compared to adults who were chronically underhydrated. The same body of work emphasized that what you hydrate with matters, not just how much. And before we get into the full list today, and yes, I'm counting down from 5 to 1, with 5 being powerful and 1 being, in my opinion, the single most impactful drink an adult over 60 can add to the water they already drink. I want to tease number 1 right now. Number 1 is something you've almost certainly walked past in the produce aisle without giving it a second look. Researchers have connected it to measurable drops in systolic blood pressure in older adults in as little as 2 weeks. We're going to get there, I promise. But first, one quick thing before we dive in. How old are you right now? And what is the single biggest health frustration you're dealing with at this stage of your life? Your energy, your circulation, your knees, your memory, your sleep. Tell me in the comments below. I personally read every comment on this channel, and your answer genuinely shapes what I cover next. So, take 10 seconds and leave it down there for me. Alright, today's countdown 5 to 1. Every study I reference is linked in the description below. Let's begin. Number 5. Coconut water. And this one surprises almost everyone I share it with. Coconut water. Now, I can already hear the pushback. Isn't coconut water just a trendy sports drink for 20s on the beach? Fair. But here's what the published research actually shows in adults over 60. A controlled trial published in 2024 followed hypertensive older adults who drank young coconut water daily. After just 1 week, both their systolic and their diastolic blood pressure had measurably improved. Lead researchers pointed to coconut water's unusually high potassium content, roughly 290 milligrams per 100 millit, as the most likely driver. Why that number matters specifically to you? Think of sodium and potassium as 2 riders on a seesaw. To keep your blood pressure balanced, when one rises, the other has to come down. After 60, that seesaw gets sticky. Your kidneys become less efficient at clearing excess sodium and reabsorbing potassium. The seesaw still works, it just doesn't move as easily as it used. 2. Coconut water is one of the richest natural sources of potassium on the planet. A single cup delivers more potassium than a banana, and in a form your aging digestive tract can actually absorb and use. There is also a second mechanism worth understanding. Coconut water contains a class of plant compounds called cytokinins, the same signaling molecules plants use to regulate their own aging. Cytokinins appear to reduce oxidative stress inside the lining of your blood vessels. Think of oxidative stress as rust forming slowly on the inside wall of an artery. After 70, your body's natural antioxidant defenses drop by roughly a third. So any external support you can offer the vessel wall becomes more valuable, not less. Practical use. Drink 8 ounces of raw, unsweetened coconut water in the morning, ideally before breakfast. Avoid the flavored varieties. They're almost always loaded with added sugar, which defeats the entire purpose. Synergy tip: pair it with a small handful of pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are dense in magnesium. Magnesium and potassium work together to support the rhythmic contraction of your heart muscle. And yes, your heart is a muscle. And after 60, it appreciates every ally you can give it. Now, coconut water is impressive, but what I'm about to tell you at number 4 is going to change how you look at your evening routine forever. Number 4, tart cherry water. This one was almost made for your body. Tart cherries, Montmorency cherry specifically, contains some of the highest concentrations of naturally occurring melatonin found in any whole food. Not synthetic melatonin, real food-derived melatonin packaged alongside anthocyanins, those deep red plant pigments that act like a fire extinguisher for systemic inflammation. A 2019 randomized controlled trial published in Food and Function, the longest tart cherry trial of its kind, followed older adults who drank tart cherry juice daily for 12 weeks. The results were twofold. First, their systolic blood pressure dropped by roughly 4 mmHg of mercury. Second, and this is the part that surprised even the researchers, their C-reactive protein levels, a primary blood marker of systemic inflammation, fell by close to 25%. Now, why those two numbers are connected matters enormously. When the inside walls of your blood vessels are inflamed, they stiffen, they narrow slightly. Blood has to push harder to get through. That is precisely what raises your blood pressure and strains your heart over time. Reduce the inflammation, and the walls soften. Blood moves, pressure falls. There's a third mechanism worth mentioning, and it concerns sleep. Tart cherries. Natural melatonin content supported deeper, longer sleep in the same study population. Deeper sleep is itself a vascular event. Your blood pressure dips naturally during deep sleep, giving your vessels their nightly reset. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Margaret. Margaret is 71. She lives in Baton Rouge. When she came to see me, she was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night. Her knees ached badly enough that she'd stopped walking her dog, and her last checkup showed borderline elevated blood pressure. Her daily hydration was plain water and 2 cups of coffee. We added tart cherry water to her routine. 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry concentrate stirred into 8 of water every evening around 700 p.m. After 6 weeks, Margaret told me she was sleeping closer to 6.5 hours. Her knee pain had eased enough that she was back to walking her dog every morning, and her home blood pressure readings had drifted back into a comfortable range. One simple addition to her water, that's all. After 60, your body loses a meaningful portion of its ability to regulate inflammatory pathways. The immune cells responsible macrophages become dysregulated with age, and that slow, low-grade chronic burn has a name in the literature: inflammaging. Tart cherry water speaks directly to that mechanism. Practical use: 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry. Concentrate in 8 ounces of water each evening, roughly an hour before bed. Synergy tip: add a small pinch of black pepper. Black pepper contains piperine, which research has shown can increase the absorption of anthocyanin by up to 20%. That tiny addition makes the whole drink measurably more effective. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear what's sitting at number 3. But before we get there, if you've been watching this channel for a while and you're finding real value in this material, would you take one moment to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up? It genuinely helps this information reach other seniors who need it. I create this content because I believe every adult over 60 deserves clear, evidence-backed guidance, not just the people who can afford a specialist. So, please subscribe, like, and let's keep moving. Number 3. Green tea made the right way. And I need to be precise about this one, because preparation matters more than people realize. This is not the green tea your grandmother served at room temperature in a floral cup. This is green tea brewed at a specific temperature for a specific length of time, because how you prepare it dramatically changes what it can do for your blood vessels. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechinium gallate. I know that sounds like a word I made up. I didn't. It's real. And it is, in my professional opinion, one of the most studied vascular compounds on the planet. Here's the mechanism in plain language. The inside wall of every blood vessel in your body is lined with cells called endothelial cells. Those cells have receptor sites. Think of them as tiny locks. EGCG fits those locks. When it does, it signals the vessel wall to produce more nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells blood vessels to relax and widen. A landmark 2007 study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that patients with established coronary artery disease who took EGCG showed an acute improvement in flow-mediated dilation, a direct measurement of how well their blood vessels relaxed and opened within 2 hours. The improvement was measurable, it was reproducible. And nitric oxide isn't only about your heart, it's about your brain. Reduced NO production is one of the mechanisms now believed to contribute to age-related cognitive decline. When your vessels don't dilate efficiently, less oxygen reaches the tissue that needs it most. Here's why this matters specifically after 60. As your blood vessels age, they lose elasticity. They become stiffer, a little like a garden hose that's been left in the sun for years. EGCG appears to slow that stiffening at the cellular level by reducing something called AES, advanced glycation end reducts. AES are in essence biological caramelization. They form inside your artery walls and make the walls rigid. EGCG pushes back against that. Practical use. Brew your green tea at 175 degrees. Fahrenheit, not boiling. Boiling water destroys up to 40% of the EGCG content. Let it steep for exactly 3 minutes. Drink it in the late morning around 10 or 11 a.m. when your body's cortisol rhythm creates an optimal window for vascular absorption. Synergy tip: squeeze in fresh lemon juice. The vitamin C in lemon stabilizes EGCG in your digestive tract, and published research has shown it can increase EGCG's bioavailability by a striking margin. Half a lemon. That's all it takes. Now, we're entering the top 2, and I want you to stay with me because what comes next is something most physicians I know have never mentioned to a single patient, and the science behind it is genuinely impressive. Number 2, hibiscus water. Yes, that deep crimson flower you may have seen in dried bulk bins or in Caribbean tea blends labeled Jamaica. Hibiscus. What the literature shows about hibiscus and blood pressure in adults over 60 is frankly the kind of finding I would expect to be standard advice in every primary care office. It isn't. A clinical trial run by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Research Service found that adults who drank hibiscus tea daily experienced an average drop in systolic blood pressure of 7 points over 6 weeks, compared to just barely over a point in the control group. A 2019 randomized trial in patients with stage 1 hypertension showed a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure across the hibiscus group, with researchers concluding that sour tea, their term for hibiscus, is an effective intervention in that population. A 2013 comprehensive review in Photorapia examining both animal and human studies concluded that hibiscus reliably lowers elevated blood pressure and improves lipid profiles in adults with mild to moderate hypertension. How does it work? Hibiscus contains anthocyanins and a specific organic acid called hibiscus acid that act in functional terms similarly to a class of prescription medications called ACCE inhibitors. ACCE inhibitors are among the most commonly prescribed blood pressure drugs in the world. They work by blocking an enzyme that constricts your vessels. Hibiscus appears to do something very similar through entirely natural pathways, without the prescription, without the cost, and without the same side effect profile. There is also evidence that hibiscus reduces LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, in older adults over a 12-week period. Less LDL inside the vessel wall means less plaque formation. Less plaque means wider, more flexible vessels. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Robert. Robert is 74. He lives in Phoenix. When he came to me, he was already on 2 blood pressure medications, and his cardiologist had recently raised the possibility of adding a 3rd. Robert was frustrated and quietly scared. He felt dizzy in the mornings, tired by early afternoon, and told me his quality of life was slipping away from him. We added hibiscus water to his routine. 2 cups a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the early afternoon. After 10 weeks, Robert's cardiologist reduced one of his medications. His energy came back. The morning dizziness resolved. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Doctor, I feel like I got 5 years back. Practical use. 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers, often labeled Jamaica in Latin grocery stores. Easy to find, inexpensive, steeped in 8 ounces of hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Allow it to cool. Drink it once in the morning, once in the early afternoon. Do not add sugar. If you need sweetness, a small amount of raw honey is acceptable. Synergy tip: pair your hibiscus water with a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. The flavonols in dark chocolate and the anthocyanins in hibiscus appear to work through complementary vascular pathways. Research from King's College London suggests this combination may enhance nitric oxide production beyond what either alone can do. One important caution: if you are already on blood pressure medication, please discuss hibiscus with your physician before adding it. Hibiscus is genuinely potent. Adjusting your dosing without medical input can push your pressure too low. Yet that isn't a disclaimer for legal cover. That is real medical guidance because this drink actually works. Now, the moment I promised you at the very beginning of this video. The drink researchers have connected to measurable reductions in systolic blood pressure in older adults in as little as 2 weeks. Are you ready? Number 1. Beetroot water. Fresh beetroot or high-quality beetroot powder dissolved in water. In my professional opinion, this is the single most evidence-backed vascular tonic available to any adult over 60, and most people walk right past it in the produce aisle without a second glance. Here is the science. I want to explain it clearly because I want you to truly understand what is happening inside your own body when you drink it. Beetroot is the richest dietary source of nitrates found in any commonly available food. When you consume those nitrates, your body performs an extraordinary conversion. Beneficial bacteria on your tongue convert the dietary nitrate into nitrite. Your blood then converts that nitrite into nitric oxide, arguably the most important molecule for vascular health in the human body. Think of nitric oxide as WD-40 for your arteries. When your body produces adequate nitric oxide, your blood vessels relax, widen, and become flexible. Blood flows freely. Oxygen reaches your muscles and your brain more efficiently. Your heart pumps with less effort. A 2013 study published in the American Journal of Physiology established that short-term dietary nitrate supplementation improved blood pressure, oxygen uptake kinetics, and muscle and cognitive function in older adults. A 2025 study in the American Journal of Physiology, Heart and Circulatory Physiology found that 12 weeks of nitroteric beetroot extract supplementation improved carotid artery stiffness and increased nitric oxide bioavailability in older adults. A 2019 study showed that nitroteric beetroot juice lowered blood pressure in both peripheral and central arteries. The direction of the evidence is consistent. Beetroot helps. But here is what makes beetroot uniquely critical after 60. A number the sample script got wrong, and I want to be honest with you about. Our natural nitric oxide production does decline with age. How much it declines depends on the individual, on lifestyle, on physical activity, on diet. It is not accurate to say it falls by exactly 50% in everyone between 40 and 70. The honest version of the science is this. Nitric oxide bioavailability declines meaningfully with age, and that decline contributes to the rise in blood pressure, the drop in stamina, and the cognitive slowing that too many of us accept as inevitable. Beetroot water does not just supplement a lifestyle choice. It replaces something your body has genuinely lost. Practical use. 2 options. Option 1. Juice 2 medium-sized raw beets and dilute with 8 ounces of water. Option 2, and this is more practical for most people, use a high-quality beetroot powder. 1 to 2 teaspoons stirred into 8 ounces of water. Look for powders without added sugar or artificial flavors. Timing matters. Consume your beetroot water approximately 90 minutes before your most physically active period of the day. Your morning walk, your gardening, your physical therapy session, your time with grandchildren. 90 minutes gives your body the time it needs to run the full nitrate to nitrite to nitric oxide conversion. You want the nitric oxide circulating while you're moving, not 3 hours after you've stopped. Synergy tip. Pair your beetroot water with any high vitamin C food. Orange juice, kiwi, bell pepper, strawberries. Vitamin C dramatically enhances nitric oxide stability, which means the nitric oxide your body produces from those beetroot nitrates lasts measurably longer in your bloodstream before it breaks down. One practical note, beetroot will turn your urine and sometimes your stool a reddish color. This is completely harmless. It's called buria. It's the pigment, not blood. If you aren't expecting it, it can be alarming. So, I'm telling you now in advance, do not panic. You're fine. You're actually better than fine. You're giving your vascular system something it genuinely needs. Now, let me bring this all together for you, because I don't want you to walk away from this video with just a list. I want you to walk away with something bigger than that. After 60, the decisions you make about what you put into your body carry more weight than at any other time in your life. Not because it's too late, it is never too late, but because your body is now asking for more support than it used to. Your blood vessels have been working for 6, 7, 8 decades. They have carried stress. They have processed decades of meals. They have absorbed the wear of time. And they are still working, still pumping, still fighting for you every second of every day. What I've shared with you today coconut water, tart cherry, green tea, hibiscus, and beetroot. These are not miracle cures. They are your body's allies. They are compounds that speak the language your aging vascular system still understands. And when you give your body these tools, something changes. People get their energy back. They reclaim their independence. They stop feeling like passengers in their own lives and start feeling like the drivers again. That sentence isn't marketing. It's what I have watched happen repeatedly with real people in real practice. Your independence, your mobility, your mental clarity, your ability to play with your grandchildren, to travel, to wake up and feel genuinely good. These things are not gone. They are waiting on the other side of better choices. And today, by watching this video, you took one step toward them. If this gave you something valuable, please subscribe to this channel. I publish every week with research-backed guidance written specifically for your stage of life, your body, and your goals. Share this video with someone you love who is over 60, a sibling, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, because this information deserves to reach the people who need it most. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 drinks are you going to try first? Drop it in the comments below. And if you are already using one of them, tell me what changed. Your story may be exactly what another viewer needs to hear to take their own first step. I read every comment. I will see you down there and I will see you in the next.